like that, you're cutting too flat. If you properly cut that rope, it'll drop just straight down. That lets you know right there, if it's a stick, if it's a rope, if it's a bottle, if that sucker ever flies over, you're way too flat. And so you will see them sometimes, they'll wrap around here, or you can see a guy manage to cut it through brute force, the rope will land out here. It should drop just straight down if you've got your angles right, if your blade is meeting the less resistance as possible, it'll drop just straight. Now, that's where you see on these cookeries, and for instance, the Middle East knives, they had a lot of upsweep in there. And now they wasn't cutting armor, something hard, they were cutting cloth. So they put as much sweep in this thing as possible. And this is what the 5 is, it has all the sweep. So it's really good for slicing. The straighter that they would make this thing, the more shock or abuse it would take. For instance, the kukri is really good as far as chopping the board. They've got that sweet spot knocked down below your handle. Now the straighter the handle, the more speed you get out of it, as far as in relationship to this, to the blade. The more you drop this handle down, which is what happens on the kukri, the more power you get. So there's a fine balance between speed and power. A slicing type knife like this one is straight, because you're interested more in speed and slice, not power necessarily. If he'd have dropped this handle down or dropped that blade down like he's done on some, it's a nasty little chopper. But it will slice some things as well. So again, that can go to our conversation. But I'm just giving a broad view of where you're supposed to hit, why you're supposed to hit it, and etc.
I think of it as the difference between 5.56 and 308. You can do
one of
get
them
the job
has and the others.
either way. One you do it with speed, and the other you do it with man. More power.
Shot placement.
Yeah, shot placement is everything.
Yeah, it's everything. The same is going to hit main shot placement, or you're going to hit the same right here. If you hit it too close, it ain't going to cut it. Now, I'll go over what we're going to cut, just so you got a feel for what we're testing and how we're testing this thing. The rope is going to be a 5 points or 0. You either cut it or you don't. That's going to, what it's going to test is your edge geometry. If you have went in there and convex or changed this edge, that's going to test that. It's a nasty type rope, so it's also going to test your edge, how it holds up. What did you say you rock welded that? Basically
58, 51.
58, 59 cut. The next cut is going to be the mount, the wild mounts. We're going to hook this thing here up on a board, on a tape measure and a 1/2 inch hardwood dowel. A lot of times something real narrow will flex that blade more. And so you're going to have to get at that cut or you'll never touch that mouse. You'll have to get at it hard. Now, so we're hitting hard on something hard and round. So if you've got that thing too thin, it's going to wrinkle that blade. It's going to flex it out. It could chip it out if you've got it too thin. That's what that dowel is for, is to check it. It's a lot of fun, but all these has a reasoning behind this.
Jerry, on that same cutter, you want to pop it a little bit too?
Yeah, everything.
Speed, everything.
Yeah. Now, there's some sneaky ways around cutting. There's some little tips that you can try to do when you're cutting anything. One year we had Kevin Cashin, who cuts very well. I think he called for either 2 or 3 on that rope that he had to cut in the finals. And what he did, he come up both feet. As soon as he come off that ground, we knew he wasn't supposed to walk. And he didn't, because he has no anchor, he has no pivot point anymore when he come off that ground. And so you can keep that leg grounded really well. And come to it. And there was a reason I was going there and I forgot what it was. What was your question?
I bet it's about risk on all these cuts you want to be.
Yes. Okay. Now, Mr. Moran was 71 years old that year we had that cutting, and he outcut all the boys 19, 20 that just pulled. He invented it. He cut that 2 before and a half to 3 legs at 71 years of age. Now, he was sneaky with his, and you never saw it unless you watched him. What he'd do, he'd come up on his tiptoes. He kept this up grounded, but when he'd come up, he had that little bit extra that gave him. But you never really saw him. It just looked like the old man just out there, he just snipped it off like that. But that little bit right there, he always talked his wrist. That little bit extra. You cannot get up too high to where you're a little shaky. You have to kind of work, practice, make sure you can come up. But that always there's always a little bit of edge that you can give yourself. Don't bring one foot up. So just, you know, you can either do that or not. It's up to you guys. But that is something that will give you an advantage in cutting something. It's fun to get out here. Our next cut, it's a know your knife. Beware of the man that only shoots one gun, because he's going to shoot everything with it. He's going to know how to use it well. Same thing is beware of the man that only has one knife. So know where your point is, and so what we're going to do, we're going to put a water bottle back here. We'll mark about 28 inches, and you have to kick his elbow on your body. You can't start out here. You got to start out with your elbow in there, and then find where your point is. And you'll have to stab. It's 3 different angles right here. We'll have a water bottle behind it. And this is not really, it's more of a test of you and do you know your knife well. It will test the sharpness that you have your point, but that's all it's going to test, and your knowledge. The next one is the water bottle. It's going to be a single water bottle. It'll be full of water. We'll put it right here on the edge on a piece of plywood, and you'll have to go all the way through the cap and separate this in 2 pieces. Now it's kind of neat. You wouldn't think that little plastic will test it, but it will. Again, it goes back to if you've got it too thin, this little plastic is a little extra thick and roll right in there, and I have seen them chip them edges out on these things. So you wouldn't think it would, but that sucker will test it. It also tests your handle design, and it will test how well you can use your knife. It will have to be in 2 pieces. And sometimes you can just blow on it and it'll fall apart, but it's got to be in 2 pieces. Let's see, the next one, just a campfire grill contest. This will check your edge geometry. It will test your edge holding ability, and again, how you use your knife. You won't be able to pick your block. We'll figure out some way to get you a block. How many guys we have cutting? Oh, we have plenty. Okay. Again, keep your hand in here. Come down here and split this thing. Your splits must go from end to end. However many pieces of kindling you can get off of this thing in 30 seconds, you get 1 point per kindling. Fire's coming up, wagon train starving. You got to build a fire as quick as you can before the rain gets here. If this comes off, don't leave that hand out of the pocket. Use your point of your knife carefully, and you can put it back up there. But this is a really good little test. Again, if it's too thin and your edge holding the building. The next one's paper. And that's the last one. And what we're going to do, Bob's duct tape some, she's got some duct tape thread onto a sheet of paper. We'll tie it right up here. You've got to slide all the way across that paper.
The wind may be an issue.
Yeah, the wind may be a little issue, so we'll just kind of have to play this by ear. If we don't, or are not able because of the wind to cut this, you could slice it right there. If it is an issue, we'll play apple ball. We'll explain apple ball later. Again, apple ball is knowing how to use your knife, but your knife should be able to, after chopping all these things, cutting the rope, and all these other things, the dowel, it should be able to slice that paper all the way across there.